CIL 650 presents It's Your Money, an up-close and personal look at your finances. Here's your host, Fred Snyder.
Up in the morning and out to school.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen and listeners out there, we are back. And I'd like to remind you once again that we're talking about money and how to keep it. I really believe I'm going to change the name of this show to Money and How to Keep It, because I believe that's more directly explains what we do on this show. Your money is one thing, but your money and how to keep it is really what it's all about. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter how much money you make. It's not about that counts. It's about how much you keep. And we're not very good at keeping money. Statistics tell us that we are 98% failures when it comes to the accumulation of money, because we don't have enough knowledge, because we don't have a financial plan, because we don't have a financial planner, and we don't know how to select the best investment products. That's what this show is all about. This show is about how to elevate your financial IQ so that you can make better financial decisions, decisions that are more appropriate in your financial life, so that you can become financially independent sooner and stay financially independent longer. Remind you once again, you need a plan, you need a planner to help you make the plan work, and you need the best products inside your plan. I interviewed last week 15 people, saw 15 different financial profiles. Every single one of those profiles had a shortfall somewhere in their overall financial plan. They weren't getting the best returns. They didn't have the best investment products inside their plans. They didn't protect themselves against risk as well as they should have. They didn't have a financial plan. That's what it's all about. You need a financial plan. So again, this show is interactive. And again, you're listening to CIL 650 AM. And once again, we're talking about money and how to keep it. We welcome your calls. Frida's down at the office for those who are shy or reluctant to talk on the air. You might want to make an appointment to see myself for a review, second opinion on your investment portfolio. You can do that by calling Frida at area code 604-737-3512. If you're calling long distance, it's 1-800-661-1495. Call Frida. Make an appointment. There's no cost. There's no obligation. There's no pressure to implement any suggestions that we make, and whether you take advantage of any of these suggestions right now, later, or never isn't the important thing. The important thing is so that you can get the information, so that you can decide when and if you want to implement a financial program. That's what it's all about. You can call me live right now with your comments or questions at area code 604-280-0650. If you're calling long distance, it's 1-877-280-0650. Remind you once again, we're talking about money and how to keep it. And again, I really love, I've shown this a few times, but I really love this little cartoon here. Picked this up the other day out of the paper. Only 22,465 days left until retirement. That's a newborn baby. But you're listening to the show, you're probably not a newborn baby. You don't have that much time. So it's time. It really is time, ladies and gentlemen, listeners out there, that you avail yourself of this opportunity. Today I'm going to feature, as I'm going to do in future shows, one particular area, and it's one of the expenses that we all have, and it's the cost of transportation. I'm going to talk about how much does a car cost to drive. Because I tell you, 99.9% of the people I talk to haven't got the foggiest idea how much it costs to drive their car. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to phone in the show, and you're going to estimate how much it costs to drive a car. A small car, a medium-sized car, or a large car. Whoever comes the closest to making that assessment, in my opinion, and contributes the most to the show, will win $500. Okay? I think this is going to be a very, very interesting show in that particular context, because most people tell me a figure which is way, way off base. They haven't got the foggiest idea what it costs to drive a car. And you say it doesn't cost me anything. My mother pays it. Well, there's still a cost. It doesn't cost you, but it costs your mother for you to drive that car, or your brother, your sister, or somebody else for that matter. There's still a cost. So we're not talking about income here, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about costs. And you've heard me preach 1,000 times over that the key to keeping more money is to not spend everything you earn. So if you're driving a car around, and in some cases you got 2 cars in the family, what's it cost? Hey, and you keep those cars in the garage. So what's the garage cost to store those cars? And when you drive that car to work, the time it takes you to drive that car to work, what's that cost? You got to really start taking a hard look at how you're spending your money, because that's the key to keeping it. Because once you spend it, you haven't got it anymore. So how do you reduce your expenses? How do you make your expenses tax deductible? All those are issues. But really, bottom line, you're doing a budget. You got 1 car. What's it cost you to drive that car? Give us a call. Give us an estimate. You get a chance to win $500. You can use that $500 to buy gas. Use that $500 as a contribution to your RRSP and make it tax deductible and save a couple $100 in tax there too. All kinds of things you can do with that particular issue. But we're talking about expenses, and we're focusing on the cost of driving a car. That's it, okay? I don't want to give it away too much by giving everybody too much information on this particular issue, because this is up to you. I want to know what you think it costs you to drive your car. So let's talk to Alan from West Vancouver. Alan, welcome to the program. Hi, Alan.
Hello, Fred.
Hi, Alan. How you doing?
Good morning. Let me just turn my radio down here.
Okay, no problem.
Quickly. Okay. Yes. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning.
So, as far as driving a car, I just want to ask you this. This is including all expenses, mechanical, gas.
Everything you can spend money on involving that car. Look, let's just suppose you say, well, I don't finance my car, so I don't pay interest.
Right.
You pay $50,000 for the cash for the car. You could have invested that money and made yourself a couple $100 a month in interest. That's a cost.
Mm-hmm.
You got to start looking at all the numbers. That's what financial planning is all about. Okay? Someone once said, if you can't measure it, you can't plan. You have to be able to measure, and this is what we're talking about: measuring your expenses.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, what do you think it costs to drive a medium-sized car?
And this would be a car that's basically a nearly new.
We're assuming this is a brand new car, and you're driving 15,000 miles a year. Right. I took this out of an internet article this morning, so it's right up to date. And I also went to Stats Canada to verify it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd say $2,750 a year.
$2,750 a year.
Yeah.
So a little more than $200 a month.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to pass judgment. Okay.
Okay.
So bottom line is that hardly anybody knows what it costs to drive their vehicles. Now I have an electric Cadillac. I've got 5,500 miles on it, and I've put less than $150 worth of gas in it. What's it cost me to drive that car? Interesting numbers, eh?
Mm-hmm. Good question.
Yeah. I don't even know, and I don't think I want to know.
I didn't even know that Cadillacs were made with electric. They came out electric now.
My wife has a Chevy Volt. I had a Volt before. Love them, and I give a real testimonial to electric cars. I think everybody should have an electric car. They're cars with a conscience. They don't pollute the air.
Right.
So even if they cost more, it's not a bad idea. Okay, so anyway, so we're talking about money and how to keep it. And Alan, you say it's something less than $3,000 a year to drive that car, 15,000 miles a year. Okay, we'll log that one. We have Victoria from Langley on the line. Victoria, welcome to the program.
Yeah, as of 2013, my car cost me $2,537.88.
Okay. So you're around $200 a month too.
Yeah, and to drive a brand new medium car, that's for everything: car insurance, gas, maintenance, everything.
Okay. So we're slightly more than $200 a month. That's good.
And to buy a brand new car, brand new medium car costs $7,000 a year.
Well, you just said slightly. You just gave me two different answers. You said it's slightly more than $200 a month, and then you said it's $7,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll accept those.
No.
Appreciate the call. We have to move along. Take care. Okay, Victoria and Alan's lines are both now open, and I remind you once again, we're taking calls. We're trying to give away $500. All you have to do is estimate or give me a close estimate as to what it costs to drive a car. And in this case, we're talking about a medium-sized car, which would be like a Chevrolet Impala, something like that. We're not talking the larger luxury cars like Mercedes-Benz or BMWs, those kind of things. Compact cars, and another part of this question would be, what's the difference between the cost of driving a compact car and a medium-sized car, or the difference between a medium-sized car and a luxury car like a Mercedes? What's the difference there? Okay? So we got open lines right now, ladies and gentlemen, and again, 604-280-0650 is the number to call. Long distance is 877-280-0650. You can log on, www.CIL650.com. Notice the change in the name. And again, it's now CIL, it's not AM 650. Get on the line, give us a call. I think this is a very important subject because I think we can all learn something from this. We can learn a little more that we really don't know how to calculate our expenses. I'm talking really about how much money you spend on groceries, how much money you spend on transportation, the cost of the house you live in, how much money you give to the church and charity. We're talking about your vacation. How much do you spend on your vacation? How much do you spend on clothes? We're talking about all these issues. And if you can't calculate how much you're spending, if you can't measure how much you're spending, how in the world can you control your money? Because the bottom line is, unless you spend less than you earn, I'm going to say this again, unless you spend less than you earn, you're destined to financial failure. And if you can't measure what you're spending, then you're wandering around in the dark. I often make reference, it's like driving around town with a bag over your head, and it really is. You're blind. Let's talk to Mara from New Westminster. Mara, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you.
Hi, Mara.
Hi. I just wanted to take a wild guess here. Not a wild guess, I calculated. Gas, let's see, $3,600 for gas, $2,400 for parking, mechanical, about $3,000. This is all per year. I don't buy new cars. I usually buy a used car that's no more than about 5 years old, but then there's the depreciation to consider. And so let's say about $20,000 and my time, which is about $60 an hour times 5 per day because I have about an hour commute to every place. So I'm thinking to own the car is about, or to drive the car is about $10,000 a year, or $12,000, let's say $1,000 a month or more. Mm-hmm.
You must have read that same article that I read this morning.
No, I just did my calculations because I have my own business, so I have to claim a lot of the stuff on taxes, so I have to be careful of what I'm paying, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to document those expenses
to
keep CRA satisfied as well.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting answer. Okay, so I won't pass judgment on that one either at this particular time. But let's take some more calls. Do you have any comments that you want to make, Mara? Before you go?
Well, when you're talking about transportation, I mean, how would you calculate in the like if you're a sole proprietor, how do you calculate in your transit costs? Like if you're trying to lower the cost of driving, not use your car.
Well, it's an expense. If you create an expense in the production of income, the expense within certain boundaries is tax deductible.
Within certain boundaries.
Yeah, there's certain rules. Like, for example, I have a boat.
Mm-hmm.
I go fishing.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to take a client of mine out fishing, in the old days, the cost of operating my boat would be tax deductible. It's no longer tax deductible. In a sense, within the broad framework of the Tax Act it is, but they've passed special legislation that says specifically that the cost of operating a boat is not tax deductible.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there's the broad rules, and then there's the general rules. So broadly speaking, any expense incurred in the production of income is tax deductible. But there are some restrictions on those that you have to understand and know. For example, if I take somebody to lunch, only 50% of the cost is tax deductible.
50%.
Because CRA takes the position that I got some enjoyment out of it, even though I bring my lunch in a brown paper bag.
Right.
I'm kidding when I say that.
Well, it's better anyway. It's healthier for you.
Oh, for sure. You know, but you know, the whole financial planning thing, it starts with defining your expenses. Clearly defining your expenses. If you can't get that right, everything else is wrong from that point forward.
Well, can I ask you what you think about these cars to go then?
Pardon me?
The cars to go. You know, the business they have out where you can just, board the car for the day, you pay a nominal cost.
I haven't formed an opinion on it. Maybe I should do a newsletter on that one.
So, yeah, just the idea of sharing a car.
Rather than owning a car,
owning a car.
I do that and I write it off if I use it for business.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
I don't know
thanks.
much about that. I'd have to look into that one.
I just wanted to give it a shot. I'm interested, yeah.
Okay, Mara, appreciate your call.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of this lovely weekend.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's talk to Tracy from Vancouver. Tracy, welcome to the program.
Morning, Fred. How are you?
I think you know the answer to this one, Tracy, because you've attended too many of my workshops.
In 2008, I had a car stolen, so I went back. It was an SUV, and I went back and calculated from the previous 2 years what it had cost me for the car based, and then wondered if I was going to buy another car. At that time, it was running me about $800 a month, and that's with payments, insurance, upkeep, tires, you name it. And so I went for 6 years without having personal transportation. Having been a retired bus driver, I had my employee pass to ride the bus. But anyway, we recently bought a new car. It's not a high-end model. It's a 4-cylinder Hyundai. And but I wanted to say, based on what I knew from 2008 up till now, I'm going to say it's about $1,100 a month.
What,
that's not a year, a month.
For a compact car?
It's a Hyundai Accent, I think, that we just recently bought.
Okay.
And but the SUV was about $785 a month back in 2008. So I have to raise, inflation and all that. So I'm going to say it's around $1,100 a month to.
That's for a compact car? That's for a compact car and SUV?
Yeah.
Which one? Compact or SUV?
Compact. Compact.
1,100. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good answer. We'll note that one.
Okay. Thanks.
Tracy, enjoy the rest of the weekend. Take care.
Okay,
thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So those lines are open, and ladies and gentlemen, we do have open lines, and we're trying to give away a little bit of money here today, having a little contest. And again, the contest: how much does it cost to drive actually a medium-sized car? Okay, and what's the difference between a medium-sized car and a compact car? Whoever answers this question best will win $500, and I'm the judge. Okay. So let's talk to Angie from Richmond. Angie, welcome to the program.
Hello.
Hi, Angie.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good, thank you. Very interesting program.
Well, we try to make it that way. We're always working hard at it.
Yeah, I love listening to you.
Thank you. Okay, so what's the cost of driving a medium-sized car? Let's say you go out and you buy a brand-new medium-sized car, like a brand-new Chevrolet Malibu, and you drive 15,000 miles per year. What's that cost?
Well, I'm just guessing about $650.
$650 a month.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll note that one and give it a try. Do you have any comments or questions that you want to ask while you're on the air?
No.
Angie, do you have a financial plan?
Not right now.
Do you have a financial planner?
Not right now. I'm thinking.
Why don't you give Frida a call and come and see me then?
Oh, maybe I should.
There's no cost. There's no obligation. We'll give you a second opinion. on your investment portfolio. We'll provide you with a written financial plan, and there is absolutely no cost or obligation.
That sounds like the best deal.
It's a good deal.
It is.
Angie, I appreciate your call, and thanks for calling, and enjoy the rest of this lovely weekend.
You too. Thank you very much.
Okay, got to move along. So
Thank you.
remember, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm probably not talking to any newborn babies, but if you are a newborn baby, there's 22,463 days left until retirement. During that period of time, you're going to spend some money. You're going to earn some money. Okay? And unless you spend less than you earn during your lifetime, you're going to end up broke. Pure and simple. Okay? If you're broke right now, it's because you spent more than you earned. And if you were rich one time and you spent more than you earned, you probably spent your wealth and that's gone now, and now you're broke again because you spent more than you earned. You cannot spend more than you earn. And I say this to you as an individual. I say this to the province of BC. If they do the same thing, they're going to end up broke and in financial difficulties. And I say that to the federal government as well. You can't spend more than you earn. And if you can't measure how much you're spending, then you can't calculate how much you can spend. You have to know that. That is part of a financial plan. So the question is this. We go out and we buy a brand new Chev, a Malibu, or a medium-sized car. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Chevrolet. But you buy a brand new one, you drive it for 15,000 miles. It's the first year. What did it cost you? That's what we want to know. And whoever comes closest to that number wins $500. You got nothing to lose. Make a phone call. You got an extra $500 tax-free in your jeans. You can put that into your RSP and turn it into $700 because you'll get a tax refund for about $200 if you do that. Let's talk to Peter from New Westminster. Peter, welcome to the program.
Hi, Fred.
Hi, Peter. How you doing?
Good, thanks. I've done a few things. I just bought a new Chevy, and I got the LTZ model because I guess it's LTZ in the States. But that one comes with the leather and the fog lights and the sunroof and auto climate control. And the
that might be. I'm talking about.
But that adds an extra
I'm kind of talking
$5,000.
about a standard one.
Yeah. Anyways, the standard one, I kind of think when you drive it away, you can pretty well kiss $1 a kilometer goodbye for the first year.
You're bang on when you say that because depreciation is,
Yep.
is your
So
biggest cost. It's the biggest cost of all.
It could actually cost close to $7 or $8 grand for the whole year, driving that around just in capitals.
Yep.
And you're probably going to end up around 12 grand to drive that car 15,000. Did you say miles or kilometers?
I said miles.
Okay, yeah, so that's around 20.
This all came from an article that I read this morning, written by the American Automobile Association. It was on the internet.
Now, if you drive an older car, you can get away with making a profit on your car allowance. That really made my employer upset a couple of times. But that's my guess.
One of the things they said in this particular article is don't buy a new car.
Yep.
That's because of the huge depreciation the first year.
Well, things came about that I could, but I've never done that before. And I'll make sure that never happens again. But anyway.
But again, Peter, do you have a financial plan?
Yes, we had one. You made it up.
Oh, okay.
Or prepared.
I think I know who you are. I think I recognize your voice. Okay, well, that's cool. I really appreciate the call. And again, any questions or comments, give us a call, and maybe you won. We're going to log that one, okay? Appreciate the call. So if you just tuned in, ladies and gentlemen, I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder, also a registered financial planner representing Scotia McLeod. And again, I believe with a great deal of emotion that everybody needs a written financial plan, and they don't have one, most people. Secondly, I believe that everybody needs a financial planner to help them make that plan work. You need a guide. You need a coach. Someone that can sit down with you from time to time and review that plan and say, well, hey, we're on track. Or maybe we're not on track. I don't know how many times people sit in my office and I crunch their numbers and I look at their numbers and I say, you know something? You're going to be okay. And when they come in, they were shaking. They were so scared they were going to get some bad news. I had a couple in my office this week, for example, that between the two of them, They receive $60,000 a year in pensions. Now, on top of that, they get the Canada Pension Plan and old age pension, which is $3,000 between the two of them a month. So that's another $36,000. Their lifestyle expenses are $5,000 a month. They got double what they need, and they're worried. But they didn't know. That's what we're talking about. They didn't know what the numbers were. You got to come in and you got to get your numbers. And I don't care if you're young. I don't care if you're old. I don't care if you're in between. I don't care if you're working or not working, on relief or welfare. It doesn't matter. You have to get your numbers before it's too late. Remind you once again, 22,463 days until retirement. If you're a newborn baby, deduct from that how long you've been alive, and that's how much time you have left. Okay? So maybe it's time to take a look at your numbers. I can do a lot of these numbers live right here on the air. I don't want to do that today. I want to keep this focus on this. I got this idea this morning. I said I got to breathe a little new life into the program, and I think maybe to do that, we got to be a little more specific. So we're talking only about one thing, how much you spend in your car. Maybe next week we'll talk about how much you spend on groceries. Or maybe next week we'll talk about how much you spend on the roof over your head and things like that. But right now we're only talking about the cost of transportation. Tracy is a retired bus driver, and I'm not even sure that Tracy has a car. She called in earlier. But she gets a free bus pass, so she can get around town for almost nothing because of that. So once again, if you just tuned in, I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder. It's a live show. We're taking your calls, 604-280-0650. The long distance, 877-280-0650. You can log on. It's www.CIL650.com. See what we look like and all that. And again, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can log on. And again, for those who are shy, reluctant to talk on the air, Frida's down at the office. You can reach Frida, area code 604-737-3512. The long distance, 800-661-1495. Remind you once again, we're talking about money and how to keep it. And the more I say that, the more I like that better than It's Your Money. So I might just change the name of the show to Money and How to Keep It rather than It's Your Money. Money and How to Keep It is really what this is about. And again, you take 100 people who started equal right now at the age of 25. By the time they are 65, only one is wealthy. One. 4 are well-to-do. That's 5%. 5 are still working. 36 are dead. There's 54 left. They're dead broke, dependent on family and state. So 54% of everybody, statistically speaking, listening to this show is either going to be dead or broke by the time they're 65. Now that's depressing. But the good news is you can do something about it. Napoleon Hill says in his book, Think and Grow Rich, which is a fabulous book. If you haven't got it, you should get it. That's the Bible to success. So if you haven't read that book, it's a free download. You can get it off the internet, absolutely free. Call my office. I'll provide you with a copy of it. But Napoleon Hill in the book says that anything you can vividly imagine, ardently desire, and enthusiastically act upon will inevitably come to pass. So if you can visualize what you want, maybe you want to lose 30 pounds. Visualize yourself with a six-pack. I don't mean beer. Okay? Visualize yourself in the physical shape that you want to be in. That's not hard to do. You can conjure up that picture. Visualize that. And the theory in this book is if you can visualize it hard enough and do something about it, you will achieve it. And this is true when it comes to money. It's true when it comes to relationships. It's true when it comes to your family, your mental and your spiritual health. It ties into all those things. It's about goals. If we as individuals knew how to set goals, most of the problems in the world would go away. Most of the problems in the world come from people who are wandering around without goals. Zig Ziglar used to call them wandering generalities. So are you a wandering generality or a meaningful specific? Are you going to become proactive rather than reactive in terms of how you deal with your money? Becoming proactive means I am going to get myself a financial plan. It won't cost me anything. I'm going to have a meeting with a financial advisor. It won't cost me anything. I'm going to make sure that I have the best investment products inside my financial plan. I'm going to make sure. I'm going to find a way to make sure that I know how to select those investments and how I keep them up to date. I'm going to make sure of that. I'm going to become proactive. Now, those are affirmations. And those are affirmations that you should stand in front of the mirror every morning, look in the mirror, and you should say those things to yourself. That's what you should do. Let's talk to Doug from Surrey. Doug, welcome to the program.
Hello.
Hi, Doug. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
That's good. I listen to your show all the time, and I never thought I'd get through, but I finally did here, and I'm glad I did. So
well, I'm glad you did too.
Okay. About the car, I don't have a new car. I always buy used cars for around $1,000 or less, and I drive a Honda Civic right now, and it's very cheap to drive. I get about 50 miles a gallon, and pretty much no maintenance on these cars. They've got flat tires, and occasionally a distributor or timing belt goes on them. But as far as a new car goes, I know people who have them, and they're running insurance and payments are close to $700 a month, and fuel is probably up to about $150. Then average yearly bills are about $600 to $1,000 for repairs. So I put in an estimate of about $9,000 to $9,200, including everything on a car, a new car, compact size or mid-size.
Okay. So you're saying $9,000 a year?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a new. That would be a new. We'll say a Chevy Malibu.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, a Chevy or a Japanese car, whatever. Mid-size car, yeah. Toyota Camry, whatever.
Okay, well, Doug, we'll make a note of that, and good luck. Hope you win. Have any questions or comments while you're on the air?
No, you know what? Sometimes I listen to your show, and you make good sense, a lot of stuff, what you're talking about. So I'm taking it in stride. I don't have a financial plan, but I'm doing okay.
How do you measure whether you say you're doing okay? How do you measure that?
Actually, I haven't worked for about a year, but
you're still able to pay your expenses.
I'm traveling a lot. Yeah. I'm doing things, and when I need more money, I just go out and get another job and have fun.
Do you know what your net worth was last year?
Never guesstimate. I don't really worry about money that much. So it comes and goes. It comes and goes, and I live pretty much.
But I believe from what you've said already that you're probably very frugal.
No, not really, actually. I just spent $30 on breakfast with my girlfriend here, so if you can call that frugal.
But I'll bet you don't do that every day.
I don't know. No, I spend money when I got it, and if I don't have it, I don't spend it. It's plain and simple. I like to go out and have fun and just enjoy my life, and I don't worry about money that much. I just spend more when I got more, that's all.
Okay, well, that's reactive, not proactive necessarily. But anyway, if it works for you, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Keep doing it. I really appreciate the call, Doug. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye. Okay, Doug's line is now open. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us, I'm certified, registered financial planner representing Scotia McLeod. We're talking about money and how to keep it. And again, do you have a financial plan? Do you have a financial planner? Do you have the best products inside your financial plan? And if that's a question mark, what are you going to do about it? Give us a call. We have to go to the break, and when we come back, we'll take more of your calls, so don't go away.
Fred Snyder.
I want people to call the show that are genuinely interested in increasing their financial IQ so that they can become financially independent sooner and stay financially independent longer.
Fred Snyder.
You don't have a blueprint. Imagine trying to build a house without a blueprint. And how about having a blueprint for your life? What are your lifestyle goals? You need to think about your family life. What are your goals about your family life? What are your lifestyle goals when it comes to health? What are your lifestyle goals when it comes to finances, mental and spiritual? You have to set goals in all those areas not just finances.
Fred Snyder.
Often we fail because we put too much emphasis on one area and ignore everything else. We work our butts off and we ruin our health. So life is all about balance. So you need a life plan.
Fred Snyder.
Napoleon Hill says this, wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. Anything that you can vividly imagine, ardently desire, and enthusiastically act upon will inevitably come to pass.
Fred Snyder.
My goal, my mission is to help people enhance their financial IQs by teaching them what they need to know to make better financial decisions.
Fred Snyder. Sunday mornings at 9 on CIL 650. This is CISL Vancouver. Smooth and easy. CIL 650. CIL 650. This is It's Your Money on CIL 650. Here once again is Fred Snyder.
Okay, we are back. And again, a very delightful show this morning. Lots of response from you, our listeners. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for feedback. Nothing worse than me standing up here and preaching hour after hour. We don't have that much time, but at least for an hour about money and how to keep it. We want to get some participation from our listeners. That's what it's all about. So to reward you for doing that, we're giving away $500 today, and whoever comes closest to guessing or telling me what the cost of operating a mid-sized car like a Chevy Malibu, a Toyota Camry, or something like that, Chevy Impala, not an expensive car, not the least expensive car, whoever can come closest to telling me that wins $500. Now, if you had an extra $500 today, what would you do with it? You could put it into your RSP. If you did that, it'd be tax deductible. You could get a tax refund of another $200 by doing that. You could use it to pay for a life insurance policy. You could use it to pay for part of a vacation. There's all kinds of things that you can do with an extra $500. And really, to have $500 in your pocket, if you just earned it from employment, you'd probably have to earn $900, pay $400 of tax to have that $500. So in a way, it's like winning $900 simply by making a phone call and an estimate as to the cost of operating a car. And really, by talking to you about this particular topic and the way that we've been doing it, we've been educating our listening audience as to the cost of driving a car. I want you to think about this. When we establish the cost of driving one car, what happens if you have two cars in the family? I want you to think about that. You got two cars in the family, you got a two-car garage. What's the cost of that garage to put those two cars in it? How much do you spend driving to work? How about the cost value of your time? We're talking, ladies and gentlemen, about the cost of transportation. And transportation is one topic which is part of your regular budget. What does it cost you for transportation on a systematic basis? What does it cost? What should it be? Is there any way I can make it less? In this article that I read this morning from AAA, it says, never buy a new car because the biggest cost of a car is depreciation. The moment you drive it off the lot, you lose a minimum of 20% of whatever you paid for the car. How are you going to get that back? So again, to remind you, we're taking your calls. We're live. We're interactive. I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder, also registered financial planner representing Scotia McLeod. So again, I believe that everybody needs a financial plan. What we're talking about is part of the financial plan. Everybody needs that. Everybody needs a financial planner to help them with the questions and help them manage the plan. And last but not least, you need the best products inside the plan. Let's talk to John from New Westminster. John, welcome to the program.
Hi, Fred.
Hi, John. How you doing?
Oh, well, pretty good.
That's good.
I guess I was listening, and I think it was the part about you when you said you can't spend more than you earn.
Yes.
So I was thinking of if you could relate that to companies and then right through to a country.
Oh, you sure can.
So
because look, if you spend, you can get away with that on a temporary basis if you can borrow the shortfall.
Right.
You see, let's just suppose that somebody. How many people do you know, if any, that won the lottery and a year later were broke? I know a guy who won $1 million lottery. He went bankrupt, won the lottery the day he went bankrupt, and a year later, the million was gone.
Yeah. Well, still, that's not so bad. There was a caller that said he gets money and then he spends it, and then he's got nothing, so he doesn't really spend it. So he's not really bankrupt, owing a lot of money.
Well, somehow he's able to manage without doing it. 95% of people out there can't do that.
Oh yeah,
it won't work. Their money
then
manages
relying
them.
on social assistance of some sort.
You got it. So the bottom line is that you can't spend more than you earn, whether you're the federal government, the provincial government, the municipal government, or an individual, or a corporation, or a trust, or a charity. You can't spend more than you earn. You can borrow the shortfall, but once you owe money, now you've increased your expenses because you got to pay interest on what you borrowed.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's a pitfall. But maybe on a short-term basis, governments borrow money to build a highway or a bridge, and they charge a toll on the bridge to get the money back and things like that. Bottom line is that you have to manage your cash flow, and financial planning starts with expenses. What are your monthly expenses listed, and what's the total that you lay out in monthly expenses, and then where does the money come from, because that then addresses the issue of income.
Right.
So you got to look at those, and really that's the start of a financial plan. If somebody comes in to see me, the first thing I do is this. I say, let's look at your expenses. That comes first. Let's see how you're spending your money.
Right.
How much do you spend for the roof over your head? How much does your transportation cost?
Right. Well,
what do you give to the church or charity? What does your vacation cost?
This is where I learned about where you talked about money in I think it was this show where the 5 things you can do with money. So I think you said the first was earn it, and then you've got to save a portion of it, and then you've got to take that savings and invest it to some degree.
Yes.
And then you got to know how to spend it, I guess.
Well, at the end of the day, the money's no good unless you spend it.
Right. Well, and then there was the last, which I guess is give it away, or the charity that you were speaking of.
Yep.
That's sometimes doesn't really hurt. That hurts the bottom line of anyone's portfolio, but I guess it's good in another part of your life to be charitable.
Well, you got to talk about all these issues, and and your emotions come into play.
Yep.
You know, you give money to the church or charity, and you feel good because you do it. That's okay.
Yep.
That's your mental. That's the mental part of your life.
That's right.
Or the spiritual part of your life. You get these areas. You have finances. You have your family life. You have your health.
Yep.
You have your mind. You have your spirit. You have to have goals in all those areas.
Right.
It's not just money. And it's like driving a car. If one of the wheels is out of balance, the car shakes all over the place. It doesn't work very well. Everything's got to be in balance. So if you spend all your efforts in the accumulation of money at the expense of your family and your health and your spiritual life and all the rest of it because you're greedy, that's not a good plan either.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah, you got to have like that balanced plan. And you know, one other thing you were saying, there was those 2 people that you were giving an example of where they're retired and they're making over $100,000 and they're spending like only half of that.
Yeah, and they were worried.
Yeah, no, I can understand why they were worried though. They were probably in a bigger picture. They were looking at maybe the country's financial portfolio. And
well, that could be, sure, because that's another risk.
Yeah. Well,
you know, it's the government, because the government may decide to grab it all.
Well, and it would come under debt.
Yeah.
Like you can have good debt, as you always say on your show, and bad debt. So if you have a good debt, would be kind of like a house where in most cases it could be. Depends on where you buy the house, I guess. The good debt is the fact that if you won't, if you're paying a bank, the bank, if you can't make the payments, will just take the house.
Mm-hmm.
So you won't really be bankrupt. You would just be without your house, and you would have lost your investment.
Sure. Well, you know, the difference between good and bad debt, good debt, the interest rates are low and they're tax deductible. The assets that were financed with the borrowed money appreciate usually in value. Bad debt is the assets depreciate in value like a car.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a bad debt.
That would be a very bad debt.
That's segueing into the contest here. Have a guess.
Yeah, we can't do that. John, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your call. We got to move on.
Can I make a guess on the car, though?
Oh, pardon me. I thought you did. Go ahead.
I see. I was going to shoot for 11,000.
Okay.
But we're not talking about your Volt, your
No,
Chevy Volt.
no. So we got you down for 11,000.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
John, appreciate your call.
Okay, have
Let's
a good one.
talk to Tim from Langley. Tim, welcome to the program. So thanks for waiting.
Thank you. I'm looking at my own finances. Being a contractor, I put a lot more miles than 15,000, and so I have a greater fuel cost every month. My guess is $14,061.
Okay, so we'll make note of that. Do you have any questions while you're on the air?
How to choose a good financial planner? You said, one should not be an executor.
Yes.
What other criteria do you have?
Well, there's lots of. Are you talking criteria for a financial planner?
Yes. Like how would I pick a good one?
Well, listen. If you call Frida, anybody who's out there, if you call Frida, I have a book on how to choose a financial advisor. If you give Frida a call, I'll be happy to get you a copy of that book.
I will do that.
How's that?
Awesome.
Okay, appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Okay, Tim's line is now open, and we're starting to run out of time. We still have a fair amount yet, but we're starting to get there. Let's talk to Norm from Pitt Meadows. Norm, welcome to the program. Hi, Norm.
How are you?
Pretty good, Norm. How are you?
Good. I put in 9,500.
9,500? Okay.
Yeah. It depends on how many kilometers you put on a year.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we're basing it on 15,000, which is the average.
That's the average, because I put on 24.
I'm using miles. That's not clicks. It's miles in this case. This came from a U.S. article that was written by the American Automobile Association. And again, if anybody wants to verify these numbers, there's another source for this information. It's called Stats Canada. So if you go to the Stats Canada webpage, you can browse there on automobile expenses and find it. You can find out what the budget for the average person in Vancouver is. One person, how much do they spend on groceries and housing and travel, etc.? That's all there. It's all under Stats Canada. And that's a good webpage. Like when I find a webpage like that, I create a shortcut on my desktop to it, and I can just click and I can find all that stuff. I can go there right now. Got a laptop in front of me. I don't care to. I'd like to just ad lib rather than read. So, but the bottom line is that we need to be able to measure clearly what we spend so that we can control it.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're spending, it's hard to control. My mother used to use envelopes. That's before the days of computers. But she kept in one envelope the money that she had to pay for the mortgage payment, another envelope for groceries, and so on and so on. And that's how she managed her money. She did a very good job. But it's a system. It's a plan. You can get yourself a book with spreadsheets. You can buy yourself a laptop computer. They're pretty cheap these days. I'm running Excel here right now, and the workbooks that you can get in Excel are unbelievable. I forget how many lines there are, but there's like 27,000 lines, and I don't know how many columns, and you can do almost anything with spreadsheets anymore. People need to find a way to keep track. And I say it again, Peter Drucker used to say, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So if you're not measuring how you're spending your money, you're not managing your money unless you've developed some unique way of doing that. I don't know what that would be. So we've noted your estimate.
Yep.
And good luck. Hope you win.
Thank you.
Norm, appreciate the call.
Yep.
Norm's line is now open, and again, we're starting to fast run out of time. So you want to squeeze a call in, get on there and give us. You just might win $500. Okay. Let's talk to Luisha. My favorite client, Luisha. Luisha, welcome to the program.
Oh, I'm going to give it my best shot here, and I would say $9,780 a month.
Okay. Now, have you figured all that out? Have you taken the time to do that in your own case?
Well, I don't have a car right now, but when we had sort of before, it was approximately that. I go by my visa statement, so you can add them all up, and it's pretty close.
Okay. Well, Luisha, we'll make note of that. Hope you win.
Oh, thank you, Fred.
You have any
And
questions
have
or comments while I have you on the line?
Yourself.
Any questions or comments while I have you on the line?
Well, I remember the time you were talking about your own car. You know, you bought one, and then instead of keeping it, you bought a bigger one. And you were saying if you had invested that money, you'd have made a lot more.
You know something? That is a good story. I should have opened this program with that story.
Yes.
That's the story of my first car. My first car when I was 18 years of age was a 48 Chevrolet. And it was 5 years old at that time.
Uh-huh.
I bought that car for $600.
Oh, my.
I drove it for 6 months. And it had to have a brand new car. So I traded it on a 55 Plymouth. Brand new. Had a baseball bat in the back seat to beat the girls off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I had this brand new Plymouth. So proud of that car. I still remember it. Anyway, one day I was thinking, not all that long ago, I wonder what would have happened if I hadn't bought that second car and I'd driven the 48 Chev for another 2.5 years. And I invested the money instead. The number I would have is $2.5 million today, extra.
Quite substantial.
Okay? So if you have children who don't understand about money, ladies and gentlemen, and listeners out there, if you have children that don't understand about money, this is the message you have to get across to them. Exactly what we're talking about on this show. You should record this show and you should get them to listen to it. Because, you know something? Most of us fail financially because we don't keep track of our money. But let me focus that a little bit more and say most of us fail financially because we buy too many bloody cars. Cars are too expensive. And instead of putting money away and having lots of time for it to sit and grow and compound, we got the assets invested in cars that depreciate and go in the other direction. Instead of going north, they go south. Very, very important message there. Louisa, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your call.
Thank you, Fred.
Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Take care.
I will.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye now.
Let's talk to Mavis from Vancouver. Mavis, welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning, Fred.
Good morning, Mavis. How are you?
Good, thank you. And you?
I'm pretty good.
This is about a laptop computer. And in order to get your whatever you say I can get, you have to have a computer, right?
Yes.
So
I think everybody should have one.
What kind of a laptop computer do you use, or what can you recommend to buy?
I'd buy the best one I could afford.
So what do you use now?
The one I have right now is a Dell.
Dell?
Yeah,
Yes.
and it cost me $2,000 when I bought it.
Oh.
You can probably get the same machine today for $1,500, but you can get laptops that will do the job probably for $600, maybe even less.
Okay, Dell.
You see, the hard drive that I have on the machine that I'm using right now is a terabyte. It's huge.
Okay.
I got all kinds of memory. I got no memory restrictions. If I get something, lots of people don't need a computer as powerful as the one I have in front of me here.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that Mavis, if you want to buy a computer and you want some help doing it, come in and see me and I'll help you.
Okay.
We can walk right across the street to Future Shop, and I'll help you buy one.
Oh, I see. Where Future Shop? On Broadway?
On Broadway, yep. Not very far from my office.
But I want a Windows 7. They don't have Windows 7 anymore.
Hey, if you buy a brand, well, no, they have Windows 8.
Yeah.
And 8.1.
I look at it.
I don't know.
What have you got,
I'm
Windows
sure.
7?
I'm sure you can buy a laptop and tell them that you want Windows 7 on it instead. I'm sure that they can do that.
Oh, I see.
It'll come pre-installed with Windows 8 on it, maybe even 8.1. But I think if you tell them you want 7, I think you'll get it. I think that's doable.
Oh, I see. So you're using Dell. You find Dell is good?
I'm quite happy with the computer I got. I think it's absolutely incredible.
Okay.
This is more powerful by far than any computer I've ever had, including the ones that sit on the floor, the big ones. And it's just a laptop. Very powerful.
Mm-hmm. What about the one in the office that I see, when you do the seminar?
They're not as good as this one.
Oh, but they're all by Dell, though.
They're not all Dells. No, they're different computers. There's all kinds. They're pretty much the same. You want to get the power. Okay?
Yeah, okay. All right.
Mavis, we're running out of time. We have to move along.
Thank you.
What's your so your estimate on the car is what? What was the number?
I don't know. 2,000.
2,000 a month or a year or what?
Say 1,000 a month.
1,000 a month. Okay. All right, Mavis. Appreciate that. We'll make note. Let's talk to Dan in Parksville. Dan, welcome to the program.
Hello, Fred.
Hi, Dan. How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
I can't complain. Wouldn't do any good anyway, would it?
I just stumbled upon your show. It's kind of cool. It's beautiful over here, too. I hope it is for you guys over there.
Well, my son's got my boat. He's out fishing at the mouth of the Fraser right now, catching sockeye.
Sockeye. Gotta like
I'm envious.
There you go. Okay, can I just throw in a quick bid?
Sure.
How about 13,002?
13,002.
Yeah. 200.
Okay. I can't tell you right now in case I get another call before the end of the show.
Okay. I got to get back to hearing your show anyway.
Listen to the rest of the show. You got any comments or questions while I have you on the line?
Well, I stumbled upon it this morning looking for a football game, and holy, this is great.
Okay.
I've never heard anyone take it to break it down like that.
Remind you once again that this show is live between 10 and 11 every Sunday morning.
You are the man. I'll be listening.
And there's a replay between 9 and 10. So between 9 and 11, you can educate yourself financially just by tuning into the station.
Oh, okay. And you say there's a replay, too?
There's a replay.
Oh, okay.
And you can go on the website, www.cil650.com. Lots of programs archived on there.
Excellent show. Thank you very much, Fred.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Appreciate the call. Take care. Okay, so Dan's line is now open. So once again, if you just joined us, I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder, also registered financial planner. We're taking your calls live. And for those who are shy or reluctant to talk on the air, those who want to make an appointment for a second opinion on their investment portfolio, get back a hold of me or whatever, call Frida. Frida is down at the office. You can reach her right now, area code 604-737-3512. If you're calling long distance, it's 800-661-1495. We're talking about money and how to keep it. Money, and I like the way that rings. Money and how to keep it. So again, I believe that I'm going to change the name of this show to Money and How to Keep It. We've been using your money probably for the last 15 years on this show, okay? Money and how to keep it, I think, is very descriptive of what we do, because people make money, they don't keep it. And it's not about how much you make that counts, it's about how much you keep. And the secret in keeping money is called financial education. It's called a financial plan. It's called a financial planner. And it's called the best products inside your plan. I reviewed an account the other day. Well-diversified portfolio has been on my books for 1 year. Portfolio is up 12% in the last year. So how many people listening to this show got 12% on their money last year? How many people in this show got 2% by having it locked into a GIC or a term deposit or a Canada savings bond? Ask yourself this question. Am I getting the rate of return on my money that I need to? Am I getting the rate of return on my money that I should be getting? And if I'm not, why? Maybe I need to do a little shopping. Maybe I need to become more proactive about how I deal with my money instead of being reactive and just kind of hoping everything works out. Because generally hoping doesn't work. Making decisions and being reactive, or proactive, I should say, is what works. Get yourself a financial plan, get yourself a financial planner, get a second opinion on your existing portfolio, learn to manage it, do all that by giving Frida a call, area code 604-737-3512. If you're calling long distance, it's 800-661-1495. Our winner of the $500, I think we had to sign off. Our winner of the $500 today is Tracy. And the answer is $10,000 a year. So those who were close to that number, good. Tracy wins because there was a lot of people in that area, but Tracy gave us the best feedback. So Tracy, congratulations. Appreciate the call. Take care. I have to go. Same time, same station next week. Bye for now.
If you'd like Fred to review your portfolio, call his office right now. at 604-737-3512. That's 604-737-3512.